In the last presser, you had said changes are coming, changes have worked for you.
Well, it's good if it happens sometimes, but, the facts were that we weren't playing well, and I've always said we bring 15 players here and we're going to use them all, and we're going to invest time and energy into our youth. And I think what you saw today was Delada, Zulfika, then Klassen and Snyder with the ball, stepping up on a big stage and doing really well. And, the fact that Freddie Klassen took the new ball and also removed their best two players is an indictment on how hard he's been working and where we see. And, I think when everyone's watching Zulfika bat, like Secunda has been probably the most unluckiest player to be left out of these games. If you look back at what we played in our season back in the Netherlands, he was our consistent batting down at number 8 when Saylor was injured and doing a really good job finishing off. So we have lots of confidence in these guys. And, now I know the stakes are so high, but we still have to trust ourselves and we still have to trust our young players. And, I guess in my time as a coach, I'm always going to back them all. And I guess, the captain was with me full-heartedly when I suggested the changes. So the result was great. We're still far from our best, don't get me wrong. We were, our top order, our middle order, once again, we got off to a good start and we really stuttered around. But a win's a win, and we got to get going, and we got to get a bit of ignition into our batting. And, now we play the West Indies, and it's all to play for.
Just looking forward to Saturday. You're taking on the Windies. The way the results have gone or are going, it looks like you're probably going to need a big win there. Are you going to be changing your approach, looking at sort of net run rate and the like?
I think what happens when you concentrate on net run rates and things like that, your plan goes out the door and you end up 5 or 6 for nothing, and things don't go well. So, look, we'll assess it on the run. The facts are we have to play well. Whatever we do, if we bat first or bowl first, if we don't play well early, the game will slip away from us. And I think, it's going to be a great challenge for us. But, like I say, we got nothing to lose now. So I think what you'll see is a pretty positive side, a side that is, I think at the moment, I just get a feeling our batsmen are almost batting with a little bit of fear of getting out, which I don't know where that's come from, because they came here in such good form. And I guess that's the funny thing of cricket and elite sport. You only need a couple of bad runs and suddenly things that what goes on in your brain starts questioning your ability. And I guess that's my job, to make sure that these guys know that they haven't lost their ability overnight. They're still in good form. They're still good players. So, I'm going to back our guys to come back. Obviously, Wes Barassi is an important one for us. He's unfortunately pretty crook at the moment. So we'll see how he goes, but he obviously adds some class. So, look, we'll make changes again for the next game. No worries about that. We just got to come up with the right combination of 11 players who can do the job.
Coach, please comment on your seamer Shane Snater. He went for a 7-over spell on the trot, got a few scalps there. What's your assessment? How do you feel about him?
Yeah, well, Shane, I think he was the one that, I guess, at the start of the tournament, it was about whether we were going to play 4 quicks or not, because we back all our 4, plus we had Freddie in our back pocket as well. So, unfortunately, when you miss the first few games, Shane's one of those guys that need to bowl. And whatever we do in the nets and try and recreate the same scenarios and stuff, it's still not the same as match practice. And I thought the first 4 overs he bowled was very rusty. But in saying that, then he started to hit the deck harder. And to be honest, I've got to take my hats off to Peter Boren, because as a skipper, I think at 5 overs he was going at 6s, but he had faith and he knew that he had to keep bowling him to get him back into the groove. So, he took the important wicket then, or I think Dye or someone. That's just the little spur that he needs. And, it's funny, like I say, we're all confidence creatures. So a little thing like that, change of luck, even getting the last wicket, again, it's just a little bit of a confidence boost. So, look, we have full faith in Shane. And like I say, our 5 fast bowlers are all putting their name forward to be selected and coming up with the right 3 or 4 against the West Indies is going to be a tough task.
And Roloff van der Merwe, nearly a 5-wicket haul for him there and 38 runs with the bat. How good was that performance?
Well, when you take into account that the physio, Evan Speechley, is probably one of the greatest physios on the planet, came up to me before the game and said, we've got a problem with Ruler's elbow, he might not be able to play. And Ruler, being the tough bugger that he is, looked at me and sort of laughed and walked away before we could even ask him, is he okay? So under that sort of stress and injury, what you saw, when he went to bat, he had intent. Like, as soon as he walked out there, he was not going to die wondering. And I think he changed the momentum of the game. At that point, you know, our batting was, we couldn't rotate the strike, we couldn't hit boundaries, and straight away it changed. And that's what he brings with his positive energy. And, of course, his bowling is fantastic. We had to bowl him as much as we could because we weren't sure what was going to happen with that elbow of his. But our senior players, you've got to ask them to step up on the big stage. And when it could have slipped away, he came, and that's why we love him so much. And that's why, you know, we love having Tendo here, who hasn't quite, you know, hit the form that he was. But, mate, around the team he's been awesome, and I've no doubt he'll step up. Pete Byron's the same. I've no doubt they're going to step up. It's just one of those things. We just got to wait. We've got to, you know, do the right things, get them in a good frame of mind, and to go out and just back themselves to the hill.
At this point, with this win, what is now the target? Is it straight away 2-2? And also, what is the plan against West Indies?
Well, obviously, we need to beat the West Indies, and we want to beat the West Indies. But for us, we want to go to the World Cup, don't get me wrong. But come 2 days' time, we go on TV around the world against a team that everyone talks about, and that's the sort of opposition and competition we're going to be in this 13th ODI league come 2020. And we need to show the world that we are here to compete, and we're not just going to go meekly into the night. So I will demand, and I have no doubt that our players will demand the highest possible performance, and I have no doubt that we will put in a good performance. Now, the West Indies are a very good team, don't get me wrong. I think they're a very dangerous side. They've got some amazing players. But if they were going as well as everyone thinks they were going, they wouldn't be here. They would be already in the World Cup. So, you know, the pressure's on them. They need to perform. So, you know, we're going to give it our best shot, and we're going to enjoy every moment. What you will see is some smiles on our faces, and we'll be going as hard as possibly, and the men in orange will do well, I'm sure.